Hi, welcome. Today is 8/8. It's a big day for energy, a lot streaming here onto the planet. It's also my birthday, so I thought I'd put out a message. I haven't been out in a while. Amanda Pinkerman back with Pink Light. I hope you are having a good summer as these energies have been amplified and quite crazy lately. Just starting with today, 8/8, we are in this galactic alignment right now. It started around the end of July, goes to the 12th of August, but today is the day when we are specifically aligned at full force. The Earth, the Sun, and Sirius, a very bright star, much larger than our Sun, and sits at the center of our galaxy. So this is a lot of energy coming towards us. It's supposed to be a big activation day, a upgrade in our DNA. And I mean, I'm going through a lot myself, so I can only imagine what other people are going through. I, this month, want to kick off a series on the Law of One. I have decided to start reading it again, and it is like, I would just within the first paragraph, I'm reading things I never saw before. So I don't know if that happens to you, but I can read something and then go back and see totally new things in it later. And I equate that to being at a vibrational frequency to receive the information. And as we increase our frequency, our vibration within us, we actually can access more information, or we see new things, we experience more. And so I began reading the series, well, probably a couple years ago, but I was finally able to go through book one maybe I started last August. So it's really appropriate to start it up again. And I had read through book four. And I can be out there experiencing everything going on. There's a lot of information that you can tap into, a lot of different sites, people giving their opinion, of everything that's going on in the world. But when I ground and get back into the Law of One, I can become more centered, and that information just doesn't matter to me anymore. So I really have to focus on what is important. Why are we here? What are we here to do? What's our purpose? And I feel like a lot of that is explained in the Law of One. It's given me, like yesterday I had a huge epiphany, and we'll get into it as we go through the book, but in the Law of One, it talks about being 51% positive to graduate, to be harvested for graduation into the fourth density positive. And I was just kind of had this epiphany when I started reading the book the other day that, we can question like, what percentage are we positive and what percentage are we negative, and are we service to others, are we service to self, and what's really going on? And I was just like, how do I get to 51%? And you know what? It's what I'm doing during each individual day. It's each individual day that I'm experiencing at 51% positive. So what am I putting in? What am I watching? What am I exposing myself to? All of that becomes really important. And if we start tracking it on a daily basis, then we're going to have an idea. So even I used to watch something that was pretty negative, and that's going into my body. So things like that can even be like influential. If we're watching TV programs, if we're watching YouTube videos, if we're reading news, if we're consuming information, what are we consuming? Are we consuming the positive or the negative? And a lot of people say, well, I really want to be up to date and I want to have information. I need to know what's going on. I need to know. So it's okay that I expose myself to the negative. And I just want to say it, that energy is energy. It is not judgmental in any way, positive or negative. And whatever you're putting into yourself is what you're creating in your reality. So my goal going forth, my intention for this 44th year of my presence here on this planet going around the sun, is to be 51% positive at a minimum every single day in what I'm exposing myself to and what I am bringing into my life. So with that said, I am going to wish myself a happy birthday. Today's my birthday. I'm a Leo, born on 8/8. It feels special this year, specifically being touted as 8/8/8 because the 1 and the 7 make an 8. So a lot of infinite, abundant energy just moving through today. And I'm just excited to be here online with you and sharing that with you. So in my little notebook here, I love it. It's by my bed. It's a little humor when for me when I'm reading the cover here, and I write my dreams in here. So I was quickly just thumbing back through, and I went to the 22nd of May. And on that day, I should have marked it properly so I'd be there real quickly, right? So on the 22nd of May this year, I woke up and I just wrote about a dream that I had. And I remember it still very vividly. I've been having a lot more lucid dreams, so I've been trying to write something down every day that I have a memory of it. And they don't always make sense, but sometimes they make a lot of sense later. So I highly recommend writing down your dreams if you have memories of them. And I'm starting to unravel things too with it, so that's helpful. But so this was on May 22nd, and today is August 8th. So it was a couple months ago. It said, I dreamt about the major arcana. They kept telling me that everything is in the major arcana. Now, I specifically remember this dream. It was very vivid. And I remember, like, I was coming into a state of awakening, like waking up for the day. And it was like over and over. Remember the major arcana. Remember, it's all in the major arcana. It has everything to do with the major. It just like over and over and over, and like really loud in my dream, just like shaking me, like, remember, this is important, this is important. And it was funny because I woke up and I was really at that point looking at a lot of constellations and educating myself on the Palladian constellation, the Orion constellation, just learning and spending time with constellations. I was like, the major arcana, is that a constellation? Wasn't really at that point as familiar with the tarot. I've been studying the tarot. I read cards, but I didn't have the depth of understanding that I have now about what the major arcana is. And that is all explained by Ra in the Law of One, book 4. And that's really where I come into this new relationship and understanding of the major arcana. Now, there's a lot of different tarot cards out there, a lot of different decks, but the deck that I'm going to refer to and use is the deck that is available in the Law of One, book 4. Here it is. All kinds of markers. It looks like I'm a student. Someone asked me the other day if I was studying something, and I'm like, yeah, I'm studying the Law of One. And oh, I haven't heard of that, she said. And I said, it's a pretty obscure book. And I would describe it as obscure. Obviously, most people haven't heard of it. I don't know if this is even maybe your first introduction to the Law of One. I was introduced somewhere probably in 2016, early on, maybe. Yeah, I mean, right at the beginning of the year, it was somebody I had become exposed to, a speaker, in December of 2015. So I picked up the Law of One through him in 2016. So it took me months to be able to even read book 1 and comprehend it. I had started it and then I put it down, and probably 8 months later I picked it up again. And I think it may be that way for most people who are going to experience it. You have to get the book, and then you have to be able to understand. Like, I just didn't even understand the material in the beginning. And now, a year later here, the clarity I have with this material is just profound, and it does make a huge difference in my life, and it does make my life positive. So I love sharing it. So anyways, the tarot cards I'm going to refer to are listed here in the beginning of the book, and I've been making a lot of notes and connecting things, so mine's pretty written up right now. But after hearing this statement in my dream in May, I really started getting involved in trying to study this more and understand it more. So I'd gone back into book 4 to start. And so when there's 22 cards in the major arcana, 21 cards. The way that this book, and other people have it very different. That's why I say there's other decks out there. There's all kinds of decks, but this is the deck that I'm specifically going to be referring to and using. The writers, the people who channeled Elkins, Rooker, and McCarty, who channeled the Law of One, felt that this was the deck that they thought was closest or most mirrored that of ancient Egypt. So whether that's true or not true, good, bad, or indifferent, this is the deck I'm using. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page there. So there's the first 21 cards, and then the 22nd card in this deck is the Fool. and it's called The Choice, The Fool and the Choice. Now, in other decks, that's why I think it's so important is sometimes that's the first card. So it's important when we're going to discuss it that you maybe get this book and use this deck. I don't know, up to you. Anyways, so there's 21 cards in the major arcana that have to do, well, we can break them out into 3 sections. There's mind, body, and spirit. So there's 7 for mind, 7 for body, and 7 for spirit. And then the 22nd card is the choice of the Fool. And so that's kind of where I had started. I'm like, okay, so, I'm starting to learn about it a little bit more. But then there's connections and relationships with different numbers within the series. So say like it's 1, 8, 1, 8, and 15. 1, 8, and 15 that have a special relationship together when kind of unfolding what's going on in this human choice we have in this experience that we're having here on third density. So anyways, that was really important to me when I had obviously gotten the dream, and so I started studying it and then reading book 4 again. So then I started book 1 again, and here it is. And it's incredibly marked up, and I have all kinds of notes, and this is my 3rd time through when I, didn't finish it the first time, but I can't even tell you, like, I was blown away just reading the first chapter. So I just want to read a little bit here to you. And, bear with me. You may receive some of this information, you may not, and you can come back and watch these videos. It's going to be a lot that we're going through, but it is the most profound information I have experienced, and you definitely have to be at the right vibrational frequency to access and hear and receive the information. So just keep watching the video maybe over and over as we go, and you are really in for this amazing experience. So right here, session 1 is on January 15th, 1981, and they had been doing channeling and stuff. The first whole part of the book here talks about everything they did, and maybe about 20 years worth of preparation and channeling and wanting to connect with other beings, and they connect with these beings, Ra, who were the beings that contacted the Egyptians. So they say, we have watched your group. We have been called to your group, for you have a need for the diversity of experiences and channeling which go with a more intensive, or as you might call it, advanced approach to the system of studying the pattern of the illusions of your body, your mind, and your spirit, which you call seeking the truth. So right there in that first paragraph, they are calling out the major arcana. I just am blown away. Like, I did not even have any idea that was what was being shared the first time I read it. And I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of processing, and I'm like, okay, what they did, and there's a part in book 4 where they're asked by the channelers, like, what, how do you explain this experience, this human experience we're having? And they break out a couple different ways to process it, and I'll look for that for my next video and share that. But they say that one of the ways is through the tarot, and then they describe how they channeled the tarot to the Egyptians to be used. Now, it's been about the tarot since the beginning, because it's mind, body, and spirit, or they call it body, mind, spirit. So I'm just floored. I don't even know what to say. Like, bam. So they also go on to say that that they visited the Egyptians, and they did, and there was another part from their group that visited the Mexican peninsula, and that they are not a part of our time as we know it to be. So they are not a part of this dimensional reality that we're in. And I know this can get a little deep really quick. This time space that we exist in. So if we are infinite beings, then we exist all the time at once. But when we are in this illusion that they describe it as, of the experience that we're in, and these avatars, our souls are inhabiting these avatars, and we are having this experience in this reality, then we're set in a time. Part of that constraint that keeps us here in the third density is time. So they are saying that they're higher dimensional beings, and they do not exist in time like we exist in time. So therefore, they can exist at any time in our time, without it being expressed in a linear fashion. I hope that makes sense. I know that can be a little confusing. Again, I think there's just going to be terms and things that I'm going to start saying because I'm reading the Law of One and sharing it here that may go over, like, may be difficult to process or digest. So, once again, just watch the videos over and over, and we'll get there all together. It's so exciting. So the other thing that they go into is they describe the choice, which is just, to me, I mean, I didn't even see this the first time. And then to see it this time, I was just blown away. So, so they're saying that we are those of the Confederation who 11,000 of your years ago came to two of your planetary cultures, which were at that time closely in touch with the creation of the one creator. So they believe in the Law of One, that everything is one. There is only unity consciousness, that everything is infinite, and that there's only unity. They actually go on to describe that unity is infinity, and that there being many is finite. So it's not that, we have this reality experience that we're in separation with one another here, but ultimately we are only one, and that these cultures that they contacted on Earth at that time, the 11,000 years ago, actually had that type of consciousness. They had evolved to a oneness in their beliefs and in their spirit and in their being. So that was who they originally contacted. They said it was our naive belief that we could learn by direct contact, and that the free will distortions of individual feeling or personality were in no danger. We had no thought of their being disturbed, as these cultures were already closely aligned with an all-embracing belief in the liveness or consciousness of all. So they contacted them and didn't realize that the contact that they were having with them was going to create actually a considerable distortion. They said, we came and we were welcomed by the peoples whom we wished to serve. We attempted to aid them in teaching ways having to do with the healing of the mind, body, spirit complex distortions. So they were trying to teach ways of how to heal the mind, how to heal the body, and how to heal the spirit so that it wasn't in distortion. And they used this word a lot. Like the second time I read the book, it struck me over and over, distortion. Okay, we are in a distorted reality. Something's distorted. That's why we are going through this. But ultimately, what is pretty cool is that it all comes down to having the freedom of our free will and having the ability to make the choice. And the choice is, in this reality, choosing the positive or choosing the negative. And how are we doing that? How are we expressing that? Are we living that? And that ultimately, beyond anything else that we are experiencing in this reality, is what this reality is. It's about the choice. And it is the most important choice that we make in the ascension of our soul. So in my opinion and in my belief, and from what I've read from the Law of One and many other books, there are multiple densities, and we are living in the third density. We are graduating into fourth density. And in third density, there's polarity. We have a veil that we exist in, and we have amnesia. We don't know who we are. And we are here to experience ourselves in separation from the whole. And in doing so, the Creator knows himself better through each of us individually, who are all part of Creator. And this is about, in third density, making that choice. Are you going to be in service to others or service to self? And so service to self is negative, service to others is positive. Are you going to make the choice of being positive or negative? And once the harvest occurs, which occurs every great year, which, if you've watched my videos, I've explained is the end of the Mayan calendar, 25,920 years. The sun goes around the galactic center of the universe, and one orbit is close to about 26,000 years, which was described in the Mayan calendar. And the way the Law of One describes it is that this is when the harvest occurs. So, biblical terms that would be named as the rapture. And I don't know if I did a video back in June when I had heard that the reaping had begun, and when I looked up reaping, it said harvest. So, but there's multiple levels. It's infinite dimensions, infinite spots or space and time within each dimension. So, a lot to digest, a lot to think about, but right here, back to, as I digress, back to where I was. So he said they were trying to help heal these distortions through the use of crystals appropriate to the distortion placed within a certain appropriate series of ratios of time, space, material. That's where the pyramid's created. That actually was not at all what I wanted to read. I wanted to read about the choice because they talk about, okay, sorry. All right, so he says, in truth, there is no right or wrong, which I had discussed because we're in a polar universe. There is no polarity, for all will be, as you would say, reconciled at some point in your dance through the mind-body-spirit complex, which you amuse yourselves by distorting in various ways at this time. So saying that we come into this physical body and have this experience, and we create the distortions in our reality. And so they were connecting with us and trying to teach us that we didn't have to have these distortions. So he then goes on to say, this distortion is not in any case necessary. It is chosen by each of you as an alternative to understanding the complete unity of thought which binds all things. That was just right there, a choice. So what he's saying is that we are in a polar universe. There really is no right and wrong, as all will be revealed and reconciled at some point. And that what we chose to be here, it's a choice. So we're the fool, right? The choice. We chose this experience to experience ourselves. So he goes, you are not speaking of similar or somewhat like entities or things. You are everything, every being, every emotion, every event, every situation. You are unity. You are unity. You are love, light, light, love. You are. This is the Law of One. And it is this choice of ours to come into this mind, this body, mind, body, spirit complex, to have this experience of having that choice and getting to know ourselves better, our soul's growth. So I hope in a roundabout way I didn't confuse you to death, but this is just the first 3 pages of the actual communication with Ra. And right there, to me, that's already just broken down the major arcana. Bam, bam, bam. So I am really excited to talk more with you about this as I read. I'll try to get a little bit more in this time and come back and share more of what I've got. But if you have a chance, go pick up the Law of One. I know some of you already have it, and I've sent it to some of you too. And let's go through this together. If you have questions, you can put them in the comments at any time, and we can have a study. I can do a live event where people can come on and we can talk and you can ask questions. But let's kind of make it like a book study group and read the Law of One and expand our consciousness, expand our awareness, and turn off the chatter and the distractions that are going on all around us. And let's become 51% positive for the harvest. So I hope you've had a great day. I hope I've gained some new followers, hopefully, and I hope that I've helped my current followers and that you are digesting a little bit of what we've gone through today. And of course, book 4 holds the major arcana in it that we're going to be processing and dealing and talking about, because I feel like it's kind of all interwoven here. So anyways, I am off for lunch with my girlfriend for my birthday, and just checking the time there, making sure, and it's noon here in the West. So thanks for showing up. Do not hesitate to send me questions, write comments below. I am so excited to share with you the Law of One and this journey of awakening and ascension. So have a great day. Enjoy your August 8th.